Hi guys, Junie here, and today's YouTube video is eyeshadows, do's and don'ts. Clearly, I hope you know that this is a do eye and this is a don't eye. But as you continue watching, you'll get do's and a lot of commonly made mistakes that may or may not seem obvious to you guys for the don't eye. But stay tuned, keep watching, and let me know what you think. Also, just another thing, I tend to get very literal with the do's and don'ts, so I tried to have a don't for every do. So some of these steps might seem obvious to some of you, but to others they are not. So I'm going to include everything from A to Z. So the first thing is to prime your eyes. So this is gonna be my don't eye and this is gonna be my do eye. So I'm gonna use this Too Faced Shadow Insurance eyeshadow primer. Eyeshadow primer helps make sure your eyeshadow doesn't crease, and it makes it last longer and just look better and pop off the eye. So on this eye, I have applied some eyeshadow primer. So another thing is to use clean brushes. Sometimes you don't realize your brushes might have products from the last time you used it, and that could affect how the eyeshadow comes out. And step 3 is to use the proper brushes. So this is a tapered blending brush, and I'm going to just show you. For the don't eye, I'm going to be using this tapered stiff brush. So this is not good because the bristles are not loose, they're tight. If you look at the difference between these two bristles, these bristles are looser on this brush. So we're gonna do the don't eye with this brush and the do eye with this brush. So this brush is clean, it has no product on it. So with that, we're going to move on to number 4, which is use an eyeshadow color to start that is similar to your skin tone. So for the do eye, I'm actually using this Naked by Urban Decay Naked 3 eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to be taking the lightest color on the palette, that one, to just start off the eye. Just something to create a nice base. And for the don't eye, I'm going to be using this stiff blending brush. And another don't is don't start with one harsh color. You need to start with a color similar to your eyelid. Don't start with a harsh, dark color. So I'm going to be going in with this color Factory with this brush. Again, I don't recommend doing this. This is for the don't eye. I'm gonna start off with that on this eye. You already see how harshly it's applying, how not really great. Look at all that harshness. Since there's so many different types of eyeshadow looks out there, this video for do's and don'ts is for like the basic light to dark eyeshadow, so like shimmer on the lid, a little darker on the outer crease. So that's what we're going for. With that being said, the next do is to use a matte shadow for the outer corners of your eyelid. So I'm going to take the correct brush that I used before and dip it in this color over here called Limit. And I'm just gonna begin to enhance what I started with the first color. So on this side we have a nice soft little pink thing, and on the other eye I'm going to use matte shadow all over the lid with the same terrible brush I've been using. So okay, so again, that's the don't eye, that's the do eye. The next step is to enhance the color with a small blending brush. So I'm going to take this small blending brush, it's a Morphe M506 brush, and I'm going to enhance this eye with this small blending brush and finally begin to add the darker color. Whereas this eye, you see how early on we added that dark color and how like really not good it looks. Now I'm going to start to add that. So first I'm going to gradually add this color in called Nooner. So I further enhanced this eye with a small blending brush, and I'm going to finally add in that color Factory, which was the first color and only color that has been applied on this eye. So this eye has been enhanced with a small blending brush, and now I'm going to enhance this eye with the same brush, which is something people tend to do a lot. A great do is do knock off the excess product on your brush. The don't would be don't just like dip the brush in powder and go straight on your eye. Another do is just generally blend gently from the mid to end of the brush, and the don't would be to blend harshly from close to the brush like this. If you're ever this close, do you realize how light the touch to your eye should be? Probably not. Another do is to keep the dark color tight and in a small area, and a don't would be to keep the dark color basically everywhere. Also, blending it too high. A lot of times people say that it looks like they got punched in the face when they do their own makeup, and a lot of times it's because they're blending the dark color way too high. The next do is to use a flat brush like this one for shimmer. So I'm gonna add some shimmer to the do eye, and the shimmer that I'm gonna use is this color here called Dust. And the next do, which is kind of like a part of this one, is to apply the shimmer on your lid. So not in the crease, because then it ruins the whole effect of what we're trying to do with the shadow. So just on the lid. So keep that on the lid, don't bring it all the way to the edge, because that's where we put the darker color. So we want to have like that gradient that you see. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you apply shimmer in the crease. The don't for what I just did would be to use an incorrect brush for shimmer. So we'll go in with this brush, and the next thing is just don't apply shimmer in your crease, because then there's no gradient like we see here. So I'm going to dip that brush in the same color with the incorrect brush and put it basically in my crease. So the next do is do apply some highlight on your brow bone. So I'm going to be taking a small brush like this, dipping it in that highlight and applying it right over here under my brow. So the next do is, if you're going to be applying liner inside your waterline, you need to apply a pop of shadow under to make your eye look bigger and pop. So I'm going to be lining both of these in the waterline, and you'll see the difference it makes when I apply shadow underneath. So for the do eye, first I'm going to apply some shadow underneath without liner in the waterline, just because that's something I tend to do a lot. A lot of times I skip liner in the waterline, just because sometimes it's pretty without it. And if your eyes are really small, it does close the eye, and although we're applying shadow underneath to make it pop, it still does have that effect at the end of the day. So I'm going to be taking a color Factory and applying it with this really small shadow brush under my eye. And when I do this, I'm going to be applying it really tightly close to the eye. I'm going to show you on this eye how not to do it, and that also gives that like punch in the face type of effect. So this is what it looks like with shadow applied under the eye and close, tightly lined. And again, if it wasn't clear already, liner inside the waterline is a personal preference, so I'm gonna do it just to show you guys what it looks like with the shadow underneath. So now this eye has liner in the waterline. I feel as though it tends to have like a more nighty dressed up look. And now I'm gonna put some shadow underneath this eye, and I'm gonna put it really low and not really tight and close to the eye, just to show you what that might look like. So that's what it looks like when the shadow is too low. So the final step before mascara, do line your eye, your top lie with eyeliner very close to the lid. We don't want to have space between the shadow and your upper lash line. And for liner, you could either use an angled brush like this one, or this kind of eyeliner brush. So this is what it looks like when the liner is applied correctly, and now I'm going to show you when it's applied incorrectly. So obviously I'm going to exaggerate just to show you, but like a lot of times, obviously the space between the liner and the actual upper eyeline is not this big. Any sort of eyeshadow that you see in between the liner and your eyelid needs to be filled fully. And now just do apply mascara at the end to finish off your eyeshadow look. And this is the final look. This is the do eye. And this is the don't eye. I skipped mascara. And that's really it on eyeshadows, do's and don'ts. I tend to get like very literal with the do's and don'ts, so every do did have a don't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Like my video. Thank you very much.